Free from heartache and pain. I wanna be free. Taking aspirin a day from the doctor way. I wanna be free from heartache and pain. I wanna be free.
Hello to all of our local viewers and those watching from around the world. I'm Dr. Wayne, and welcome to the Dr. Wayne Health and Wellness Show. Today we'll be speaking with Xaviar Johnson. Xaviar is a kidney transplant recipient. Welcome, Xaviar.
Glad to be here.
Xaviar is a local citizen here in Cordele, Crisp County, who's well known throughout the community, has done a lot of training, people from a whole host of backgrounds. So we want to talk with him today. He's, as we stated earlier, is a kidney recipient, and we want to learn a little bit more about his experience. Xaviar, again, welcome, and tell us a little bit more about yourself. You're a graduate of Dooley County.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. You were a graduate and you were an athlete.
Yes, I graduated in 1989 from the mighty Dooley County High School, Bobcats. I was an athlete there, played football, did a lot of weight training. I grew up in Drayton, Georgia, which a lot of people call Drayton community. I grew up on a farm, rural. Everybody loved everyone, and I just was blessed to have that background of hard work. And I love athletics. I love training. I love fitness and health. I grew up loving it. And even with my limitations today, I still love it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about for football. I learned that at one time you were a candidate to play in the NFL.
Oh, yes. Like I said, Dooley County gave me the start. I honed my skills. I went to West Georgia and Morgan State. I just got better and better because I had a desire. And I just trained so hard in learning the game, learning the nuances, and just being physically fit. And I got an opportunity to play at that next level. But unfortunately, I had a horrendous accident that took that from me.
Talk to us a little bit about that, and tell us a little bit about how that happened.
Was while playing a pickup game that should have been playing. I had my agent, and I knew I should have probably just went home, but you know, the ego wanted to play, show everybody I was an athlete, and I got hurt unfortunately, and the injury to my ankle, all my tendons was ripped from one side to the other. I ended up having a massive blood clot, and the massive blood clot required not only blood thinners but continual antibiotics. Long term, I was getting infections, and the antibiotic that they was giving me caused severe kidney damage for me.
Unfortunately, in Xaviar's case, he's one of the atypical manners in which kidney failure occurs. It's generally associated with disease processes such as diabetes and long-term hypertension that is uncontrolled. But he sustained kidney damage as it relates to medications that he was on for long term. And that's the risk of being on some medications. They can lead to situations such as kidney failure. So he talked about some of the medications that he was on long term leading to his kidney failure. Can you explain to us some of the symptoms that led to you beginning to know that there was something wrong or that was taking place with you?
Yes, like I said, I regrouped. I continued to train, but I was noticing that I was fatigued all the time, and I couldn't understand. I got my diet honed. I was eating really well. I don't normally sleep much, but I don't cry much sleep. And I started sleeping more, and I just could not. I just say fatigue. I knew something was wrong because I normally sleep about 5 hours, but now I was trying to get 8 hours, and it just did not help. And I noticed I was gaining weight. And what I was eating, there was no way I should have been gaining weight. I should have been maintaining or either losing weight because I was eating really well. And I knew something had to be wrong. I had an episode at work where I kind of passed out. So once I had some routine blood work and other tests done, I was shown that I had severe kidney failure.
Okay. You talked about some of the signs and symptoms, and you said your diet, maintaining your diet. So you were retaining fluids, you were
Yes.
swelling up. Not. What about urine? Were you just urinating?
Yeah, I was urinating quite frequently. Just unusually a lot frequent, but not a lot. And it was just, like I said, the fatigue just was, and I couldn't even really quite, my mental capacity I was fogged. It was like simple things that I could do like this. It's like I had to actually think about it. And I didn't realize it was the toxins building up in my body that was kind of like fogging my mental intellect, and it was awful. I felt like I was losing my mind. So I knew something was going on, and I had to do something to find out what was going on, and I did. And unfortunately, that's what my diagnosis was.
Okay, when you were diagnosed, how long after diagnosis did you move from diagnosis to dialysis?
That's really funny because the doctor that I seen, I still remember at Southern Regional in Clayton County. And he said, look, man, he said, I know you're a big, strong guy. He said, you don't want to hear this. He said, guys look like you don't have kidney problems. He said, but look, I'm giving you about a year for you on dialysis. And almost exactly to the time he told me I had to start dialysis, almost exactly from that day from a year.
So about a year.
Yeah.
And then you went on dialysis.
Yes.
And dialysis required you to go to dialysis center.
Yes.
And that and beyond that, how many days a week?
3 days a week, and your time is based on a lot of things. The bigger you are, normally the longer you have to run. Mm-hmm. And a lot of centers now run like 3 hours, 4 hours. When they first started me out, I was 6.5 hours, which is a very long time to sit anywhere and be still, not do anything. But I had to do that either not live.
And this was 3 days a week?
3 days a week.
3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday,
it's based
Saturday?
on, so if you get if you do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or you do Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. When I first started, they gave me Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
For me.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about the experiences, the feeling after sitting for 6.5 hours in dialysis. What was that feeling? What was that like?
Well, for me, I was fearful because I'm afraid of needles, and when I saw a needle that size going in my arm, I was petrified. But I don't want to alarm people because if you need it, you have to do it. And after a while, it becomes quite not much to it. But when I started the treatment, I actually started feeling better that same week because they were clearing the poison out of my system. I actually, when I started feeling better that first week, then I knew I had to do it. Mm-hmm. And every week I started feeling better and better and better. I just felt better.
Okay. Were you able to maintain your activities? You talked about being an athlete, and you're a trainer. Were you able to maintain those activities?
Yes. After a while, once you it's called KT/V, which is your level, your clearance that you get. When my clearance got to a certain level, I started really feeling good. I started doing like little small walks, like nothing to the mailbox and back. And then I started going down the street, and then I started going around the block, and then I started going back to the gym, get on the treadmill 5-10 minutes, and it just progressed. And I really got back to pretty much almost training just as hard as it was before I even had anything going on.
How long did it take you to get back to that point?
It took me about 7 months.
Okay.
Kind of like to get back functional again, about 7 months.
Okay, but you being a young man, you were motivated to not let this kind of set you all the way back. You were motivated to get back as much as to par as possible.
Correct, and also you have to listen to your doctors. And I think a lot of people they go on dialysis. A lot of times, older people, and we are creature of habits. And people, a lot of times when they have a certain way they've been eating 55 years, tell a person you can't have this and that. Man, they panic because but me, I wanted to live. When they told me, hey man, you can't have this and the other, and I was like, really? I said, why? Because it's gonna do this. When I saw the effects, I don't care how much I love it. I was like, okay, it's a wrap. I'm not gonna take that in. I'm gonna get better. So I just made up my mind to do the right thing.
Okay. When you went to dialysis, and you got a chance to see the people that were on dialysis. What did you generally see? Was there a particular age group or?
I saw all kind of age groups. A lot of older Americans. Of course, a lot of African Americans, mostly. I didn't see. You saw a few whites that was there. Mostly African American was there. Most of the people I've seen that was there, a lot of them they were really kind of overweight for the most part. Not saying that's not indicated, because you can be overweight still be healthy. In my opinion, for your organs, and it's just it was. I just saw some of everything. So it's really kind of hard. I've seen them as young as 15 to 70.
Okay.
So it's really it varies.
To our viewers, he mentioned something that was very important, the observation that he made. What did he just say? He said the predominant population, he saw quite a few African Americans. And the reason being is that so many more of us have high blood pressure that is not controlled. We have diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and those are some of the leading causes as it relates to diseases that leads to kidney failure. He alluded to young people, sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease leads to kidney failure in some instances with young people that experience kidney failure. So sickle cell disease can lead to kidney failure also. So again, you're talking about these health maladies and what he sees when you go to a dialysis center. That's typically true wherever you go, particularly in communities where there's a large population of people of color, is that when you go to these dialysis centers, the predominant population is African Americans. And again, I talk about those diseases that we just talked about. But again, it's good to hear him share this information about kidney disease, but he got that through a different mechanism, and that was through injury that led to chronic use of antibiotics that led to his kidney failure. And there's some antibiotics that can do that over a long period of time. Unfortunately, he was one of those unfortunate people that had to endure that. If we were talking about preventing kidney disease, what are some of the things that you would suggest, Tron?
Very simple. Please, by all means, get a physical. Don't go 9, 10, 12 years like, oh, I'm okay. No. Blood pressure. A lot of times people have high blood pressure have no clue. A lot of people diabetic have no clue. A lot of people have a history, hereditary, where their grandparents have kidney problems. They have no clue. And you have got to, when you know better, you got to do better. You got to change your diet. You can't fry everything. You can't eat pork with every meal. There's nothing wrong with having some pork. Tell a person you can't have pork, to me that's idiotic. But to have it every day, I don't think it's a good idea to have it every single day, especially us as people of color, due to the fact that I've gone to dialysis centers from Alabama to all over Atlanta, and I always see us. And so, when I see us, I know that there's an issue of if people always say, well, if they bother you, don't worry about it. Sweep it under the rug. No, do not sweep it under the rug. Please go get your blood work done. Please go check on yourself at all means.
Folks, that's good information. So we'll take a station break and we'll be back in just a moment.
Dr. Wayne's aspirin is a low-dose tablet that promotes heart health while reducing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Heart disease is the leading cause of deaths of Americans. Recent studies have concluded that a daily low-dose aspirin also reduces the risk of colorectal cancer. Taking low-dose aspirin is not safe for everyone. Only take low-dose aspirin if your doctor recommends it. Try Dr. Wayne's aspirin, coming to a store near you soon.
Welcome back to the Dr. Wayne Show, and we are interviewing today Xaviar Johnson, also known as Tron. He is a kidney transplant recipient, and he's sharing some good information with us today. Xaviar underwent a kidney transplant 7 years ago, and he's been functioning very well. So he's here sharing some good information with us today. So Xaviar, tell us a little bit about the kidney transplant itself. You told us about quite a few experiences. You went through this process of being on the donors list. How does that work? Tell us about the donors list and how that works.
Well, first, to get on the donors list, you got several lists. You can go with either hospital you wish to, Piedmont, MGC, Mayo Clinic. I chose MGC in Augusta because they had such a high success ratio of their operations. So I chose them. And once you get on there, you have to be compliant. Compliant means no drug use. You're not missing treatments. You're taking your medications. They view all of this as a part of compliance, because if they don't want to give a transplant to anyone who misses treatment, doesn't take the medication. I mean, you're getting a kidney that's probably going to fail because you're not going to be compliant. So you have to be compliant. You have to make your treatments. You have to do that in order to be on the list just to begin with.
Okay. Now you say on the list.
Yes.
Where you said the list is at a hospital?
Yes. You check in. A lot of times, a social worker at the center you're at, they will let you know different places, and you can inquire on your own on where you would like to be. A lot of people get on more than one list. Some people get on lists in Georgia and Florida. So whoever calls first, they can go ahead and make a move. So I would advise people, knowing now if I had to do it again, to get on two lists, one in Georgia, one in Florida, so you will have opportunity to move quicker up the ladder and get your transplant.
Okay. And the likelihood is greater that you'll be successful in getting one.
Yes, as long as you are compliant
Okay.
with what they're asking you to do, you have a great chance.
Okay. Now, you said on the list. From the time that you were on the list, that you got on the list, how long did it take you?
It took me roughly, I got on the list, that's about 2 years, I say 8 to 9 years, basically. It took me a while. Being B positive made it really, it made it difficult for me because it's not an ultra rare blood type, but the list on B positive is kind of long, so you have to kind of wait a little bit.
That's one of the more common blood types.
Yeah, it's not super rare, but it's not. If you had O, you'll move up much quicker.
Okay.
You move much quicker. A person B positive, it's a little slower for you.
Okay. So 8 years. 8 years. Tell us about being on it after 8 years and finally getting a call.
Well, my first call wasn't, I thought it was the call. I got a call, I went, and how it works. When they do a call, there's a list. They call the top 3 people. And I didn't know I was third. So they called 1, 2, and 3. So I went, and I got prepped and everything and all. And the other person was coming from South Carolina. And they did not respond to the calls. And they finally showed up at the last minute. And so they had to kind of wake me up, like, hey, man, we sorry. And so I couldn't get the first one. And the second one was damaged too bad. I went up there. And the third time they called me, they said, Mr. Johnson, if you're driving, pull over. You're number 1 on the list. This kid looks perfect for you. Come on now. And I kept a bag packed. So my wife was at work in Albany. And I called her and said, hey, I'm gone. When you come get out of work, come to Augusta. And I just grabbed my bag and I was gone.
Okay. What were the circumstances around that? You shared with me.
Yeah.
Somebody, unfortunately, when you receive these transplants from a donor, usually there's a situation of trauma, such as an accident or something. Somebody has agreed in the event of their death to be a part of an organ donor bank. So share with us some information about that.
The person that we got a kidney from, they were killed in a car accident. Unfortunately, their death gave me a whole release on life. I'm very appreciative for that person to be a donor. It gave me a chance to break free from that machine, to be free. Because when you're on dialysis, you're not truly totally free. Because anytime I went anywhere, whether vacation, I wanted to just get in the car and go somewhere, I could not. I had to make preparation to make sure a center had room for me and they accepted my insurance to dialyze me while I was out of town. So you get some freedom, but it was, for me being a person who loves the moon, it was very, very tough for me. Very hard.
So it was restricted a great deal of what you could do.
Correct. Nothing spontaneous.
Nothing spontaneous.
Nothing.
Everything had to be planned.
Everything.
Everything had to be planned.
Everything.
When any place you had to plan for
Treatment.
treatment wherever you go, and
No
that
matter, yep.
yeah, and that put a restriction on a lot of your activities.
Yes.
So people would talk about being on dialysis and kidney failure. He mentioned some things, and I'm going to come back to you. Some things that, even diet, any recommendations that you would make.
By all means, yeah. My recommendation is it's okay to have a little bit of fat in your diet, the good fats, from your plant, from your avocados, from your olive oils. All those things are really good. Even having a small bit of red wine at nighttime is really good for your diet. All that processed food and canned goods to a minimum. If you can't do fresh, go frozen. It's a lot better. Anytime you have a food that can sit on the shelf for 3 years and you can eat it, I mean, you already know it has a lot of preservatives in it. Mm-hmm. So I know sometimes we have to, but try to keep it to a minimum as much as you can within your budget. And those little things that you do there, I would rather spend a little more money at the grocery store than be stuck and sit in a chair for 6 hours, 3 days a week for 10 years.
That's good. That's very good advice. Good advice, folks. You talked about the kidney transplant. You were on dialysis for 10 years.
Yes.
And you've been living now with a donor kidney for 7.
Yes.
Okay. How has that been?
Oh, it's been great. Just freedom. Just being able to get up and do what I want to do, go work out, do anything I need to do. Don't have to call in, check, can I go here? I just, I get up and go. So it's been a blessing. It's just been a blessing to me and my family. I can be home. I can go here. When things come up, I can just go. I don't have to make any arrangements.
It's like having your life back.
Back again.
And how long did it take you to rehabilitate after the surgery?
The surgery took me, because while I was in Augusta, what they did, when they did the surgery, they keep you. And you basically have to, they check your kidneys daily. And you have exercise, a little regimen of walking, of doing little odds and ends. You have to do because the blood flow what makes that kidney your body accept it. So you have to be moving. So we used to do a lot of walking in pairs, little light workouts because they don't let you sit. Immediately when they gave me the kidney, immediately they woke me up, made me walk. Immediately, it wasn't no next. It was like
right away.
Right away, it's like you gotta get up and move. And they made you walk, so the blood flow would the kidney would pick up and start working. So you have to move your body.
How long were you in the hospital?
I stayed in Augusta, and they gave me accommodation in a hotel, probably for probably close to a month. They gave me keep me from having to drive back and forth, so I can go over there, do my little exercise, and do my checkup.
You were in the hospital for a month, or were you?
Yeah, I was there. And they gave me a room next to the hospital. I got you. Hotel, they had some type of partnership. Okay. So they gave me a room over there, and they fed me and stuff, breakfast and everything. So they did a great job. Okay. They really, I would recommend them. And I don't get any money for them saying they took care of me.
This is Medical College of Georgia.
They took care of me, yes. Yeah. They took care of me.
One of the best teaching hospitals in the state of Georgia, Medical College of Georgia. Has a new name now. Yes. But has a long history of training thousands of doctors in the state of Georgia for many, many years. Good educational institution. So folks, we're going to take a break now, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap this up.
My name is Evan Edwards. I am the Director of Community Sustainability and Health Initiatives. We just wrapped up one of our health and wellness classes that we have every week, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's open to the public at no cost whatsoever. And here we just do functional training, stretching, multiple types of exercises and cardiovascular movements to mimic everyday movements for our senior citizens and anyone actually that needs to come in and get a workout or has had some type of surgery or injury that prevents them from being as mobile as they like. We just partnered with Silver Sneakers, which is catered to members of the community that are 65 years and older. With Prime for anyone 18 to 64, we are one, if not the only, privately owned Black fitness facilities in the state that offers these programs. We want to get everybody involved. We are doing many other things here at the MD Whitehouse Institute. We do toy drives, we do the food bank that's coming up. We're going to be one of the places that families that are less fortunate can come in and weekly pick up food and things that they need to take care of their families. We do health and wellness screenings, blood pressure checks, cholesterol checks, BMI, those types of things, just to keep awareness and consciousness to the community about health initiatives and nutrition classes, do vital signs classes, and eventually we'll do some resume writing classes, interview skills, and check us out. You can go on our website at mdwhitehousemedicalinstitute.org.
Welcome back to our show today. We're interviewing Xaviar Johnson, also known as Tron. He has been a kidney transplant recipient and is doing quite well. And he's been here today sharing some good information with us about his experiences, the process. Been rather informative. So it's been a pleasure having him today. We have a few more questions and we're going to wrap it up today. Xaviar, you were saying about the kidney transplant. Now tell us some of the things that you do now. I take it you're on medications.
Yes.
You continue to be on medications and you'll most likely have to be on medications the rest of your life. Okay?
Right.
But that's a whole lot better than having to sit as dialysis for 6.5 hours,
Yes, it is.
three days a week. So you can do that. But tell us a little bit about that and some of the other things around it.
Yeah, I take an anti-rejection medication to keep my body from attacking the kidney. I've had no issues so far, and I'm doing really well. With this COVID-19, I'm especially extra careful. I don't engage in a bunch of people around. When I see a bunch of people, I get back in my car, head the other way. I keep my mask on, sanitizer in my pocket, and also because I know a lot about health. I take a lot of different herbs such as turmeric and hawthorn, and I make garlic teas and different things to really keep my immune system as strong as possible. And so most of the time, I feel really good. Majority of the time, I feel really, really, really well. Most of the time, and like I say, I was training into the COVID. I was running a training business, and of course, when this came on, I put the brakes on that because I just wasn't comfortable being around, people. 'Cause I don't know who were there around, and people still been calling me about coming back and training them. But right now, I'm waiting to see until at least a vaccine or something come up because I just don't want to put myself in a situation to get it. I just don't want to do that right now.
He talks about some of the rejection medications with his kidney transplant. The body has an immune system. It's our body's defense mechanism. So when he took or received a donor kidney, that was a foreign entity to his body. So his body didn't recognize it. And your immune system acts against those things on a regular basis to defend us against diseases. So in order for his body to accept that kidney and the body not attack it, he has to be placed on medication to suppress his immune system so that it doesn't attack and destroy that donor kidney so that he can live. At the same time, when the body suppresses that immune response so that his body can accept that kidney, it also puts him at risk because it blocks the agents, the antibodies and things that kill off normal infections like viruses and like the COVID virus and some of the bacteria. So he's at a greater risk. So when he talks about being very careful, very, very cautious, that's something that he has to do. That's one of the, I guess, the small prices that he pays for having a donor kidney. But like he said, it's a whole lot better than having to sit in dialysis for 6.5 hours for 3 days a week. So he's doing quite well. We're happy to have him here with us today because he's given us some good information about kidney disease. He's given us some good recommendations. And he's also given us some good advice also that we can transplant over to COVID-19 protection. He talks about staying away from folks. The other thing, the mask and the sanitizer, those things that he does all the time. He's more conscious of that now with this COVID-19. So Xaviar Johnson, we've had a great time with him today, and we really thank him for coming by and interviewing and sharing this very important information. Again, thank you. And this concludes our show for today.
I enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.